Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead. Yeah, Shankar.
All right. So, I mean, as was mentioned, obviously, a lot of us gained a lot of benefit while Vilasji was in Brisbane. One of the questions that came up a lot was about Sotapanna and understanding if you're there or not. Um, so, I just wanted to talk about that point a little bit more, and a couple of other things that relate to my experiences. And I know everyone is different, and we all have different strengths and strengths, or ways that we sort of move forward along the path. So I just want to, state that a lot of this relates to my experiences. Others' experiences would be different. But the first thing I wanted to talk about is just about the different path and fruition sort of experiences. And, I spoke to the last year about the 16 stages of insight and that particular model. And I really wanted to just understand deeper how that relates to people's experiences on the path and if other people have experienced that. Because for me, my background was doing a 10-day Goenka course back in 2018. That was my first experience with the Dhamma. And it was excellent. I learned so much about things, but I also knew that there was so much more that I was missing and didn't understand. So naturally, my tendency was to go and explore and find other teachings so that I could expand my knowledge. And so I did one course, and then I spent some time trying to find ways to improve my concentration. So I started looking at Chuladasa's The Mind Illuminated. Maybe some of you guys have read about that. So that was to improve my samatha meditation. And I found that to be very beneficial as well, because it allowed me to get deeper into Goenka's method, and reach like the stages of Bhanga. And that is, I think, stage 5 on that 16 stages of insight. And what I found as I continued my practice is I really didn't know about these stages of insight, but I could feel that there were shifts in my perception and mental state as I got deeper into my practice, until the point when I had, an experience where it was very different or nothing like I'd experienced before, which only later I found out that it sort of mapped to the 16 stages of insight. So my question, I guess, for Vilasji is just the importance of understanding those experiences and relating them to where you are on the path. Because for me, the experiences I've had, it left me with no doubt that I had achieved certain stages. So Sotapanna, like for sure, and also Sakadagami. And the thing that really helped me realize that was, I think, stages 12 to 14 on the stages of insight. I should probably post it to the chat so people could see what I'm talking about. But yeah, I just wanted to sort of put that out there and just see how that is a tool to understand where you are. But I also understand there's different paths, through faith or through wisdom or whatever else.
So do you want me to start with the 16 stages?
That would be great. Yeah.
Okay, so that we had covered it some time ago. It is, I think you will have some video, 2-3 videos are there relating to that anyway. But the 16 ones are indicated by Buddhaghosa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you have.
I'll just post some of these. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, yeah, you're copying and sending it. It's fine. I appreciate. So if you were to do it from the below, you should see it from below. Have you been able to do that? You will really see that.
What do you mean below?
16, Pachavekana, Phala, Magga, Gotrabu, Analoma. Or if you start from top, it is Namarupa, Pachaya, Parigaha, Sammasana, like that.
Yeah, so
See, the thing is, Udayavaya Jnana should be there. Once you get that, you get the Bhanga Jnana. If you don't have to worry about other things, because other things doesn't even matter, okay, because what we can take from the Buddha teaching, from the sutta, as opposed to the 16 Vipassana Jnana, which is indicated by, what is that? Visuddhi Magga. It's more from Visuddhi Magga.
mhm,
So if you are saying, this one, there is a sutta, Rata Vinita Sutta. In that, he puts all of these. In that, this is not there. These 16 Vipassana Jnanas are not there. Okay. So maybe later we can take it rather than confusing everyone around here. Maybe I and you can sync
mhm.
up later. I think that would be the best. Hi, Chirag. So rather than, rather than uh, going through each one of them and comparing it, okay,
Yep.
what you need to know, irrespective of whether you're following 16 Vipassana Jnanas or not, as soon as you have an experience of this Udayavaya Jnana, you'll immediately get Bhanga
Mhm.
because the dissolution is going to happen.
Yep.
Okay. And that Bhanga can happen to you even when you are sitting anywhere,
Mm.
meaning while working, while walking, while sitting, while standing, and each one of them, because the once you have the Bhanga experience, it's always Bhanga.
Yep.
Okay. So you can't fix it, you can't combine it. So you will have to take effort to combine it, or rather see it. Like when I was there in Australia,
Mhm.
it's Bhanga, but you can combine it and see it. It doesn't make any difference as such, but they are interlinked. So the Vipassana way of, or the Goenka method of Bhanga Jnana is on a foundation that you can't get this through any other except for body sensation, which is true. For a
Mm.
normal practitioner, it's impossible to understand what is dissolution. It's better to experience it through something. And what
Mm.
is that something? That something is about the body has consciousness. So you can, it's gross, not as subtle as eyes, ears, nose, tongue, like that. So it's better that I get through some sensation, something or the other will be happening in the body. Okay, meaning some irritation here, some scratching, some that, some this. Okay, something or a moving body from here to here or something like that will keep on happening. So let's say if I were to sit, close my eyes and watch it, and when it comes to vibration level, it creates bhanga.
Mm.
So you will no longer be able to feel anything as solid. That's what is bhanga jnana is. That
Mhm.
means there is no joining. It's disjoint, basically. This happens when there is Udayavaya Jnana. So what Goenka does, or the Ubakin tradition or the Burmese tradition do, is to keep on saying it is anicca. It's anicca. Don't react. It's anicca. It keeps on going, arising and going. It's arising and passing away. It's arising and passing away. Don't have to do anything. Don't react to it. Just keep on scanning. It'll go. So then what happens? You are at one time, you forget all about the body. And then the dissolution happens.
Mm.
So these are the two important things of Buddha Dhamma. The remaining can be built up. Nama Rupa Paricheda Jnana, that will come when you really see things are disjoint. Okay, now let's say I get the Bhanga Jnana. Then what happens? Then what I'm supposed to do if I get Bhanga Jnana? Then I see the danger, Adinava, of joining it, because a wife is a joint thing. Son or daughter is a joint thing. House is a joint thing. Everything is joint. There's a danger of losing them. So whatever is joined will eventually get disjoined. So there's no point, right? So then the Adinava happens. Because Adinava is there, you fear going near it. So Bhaya Jnana, they are part of it. So when you get the Bhanga Jnana, Bhaya and Adinava are already there. So you get Nibbidha, disenchantment. Now all along you were enchanted with it. Now there is nothing to get enchanted. You are actually released from taking what is not real as real. Now I see this body is real. The place where you're sitting is real. Your house is real. Everything is real. So we came there and met you is real. Yeah, in a conventional sense, yes. But if you see from Bhanga perspective, you see from Uday, so the Bhanga cannot be seen without Uday. So if you really understand Ubakin's way of doing or Goenka way of doing, is to keep on saying it is anicca nature.
Mm.
The reason Goenka technique works or it doesn't work are two factors. Let's take why it works. It works because you don't have to do anything except for watching your sensation. You don't have to know the theory of it. You don't have to have any damn experience in meditation except that you have to go to the retreat. Okay. Now the 10 immoral deeds removal and all that, they will do it. You don't have to do anything specifically. Okay. So let's say I do a 10-day retreat and nothing much happens because there are a lot of impurities. So the second 10-day retreat or the third 10-day retreat or whatever, or seva, then Satipatthana, then another 10-day retreat and a 20-day retreat and a 30-day retreat and a 45-day retreat and a 60-day retreat is going to literally give me that Bhanga Jnana. Because that is the preamble to get anywhere, to be honest. For that, you need to see the anicca nature. So the Goenka method works primarily because it's based upon these two, anicca nature and Bhanga.
Mm.
The remaining is part of it. So there are no 16 Vipassana Jnanas, to be honest. There's only two. One is Udaya Vyaya and one is Bhanga. That's all.
Mm.
The solidity losing is Bhanga, and then your Udaya Vyaya is the actual Jnana. Because that is anicca nature. You have the dukkha, then you see anatta. So the tilakkhana is completely penetrated. Then you can see the ayatana and the dhatu. Then you can see the five aggregates. Then you can see patisamutpada, and that's it. There ends your entire Buddha Dhamma way of seeing. One. Two, for those people who would like to know themselves, then they shouldn't go to Visuddhimagga because it is totally like this. Meaning, it's a good one. That's for those people who cannot explore. So you got it. So now what happens? Like I say, Nama Rupa Paricheda Jnana. That's the first one what is indicated there in that list. You see. So
Mhm.
what is Nama and Rupa? That is what will give you the mukti. Okay. Pachaya Parigah Jnana. See, Pachaya, dependent origination. Right? If you go step by step, Shaniel, since you are also from software, is first you have
Mm.
to have a logical arrangement, right? So the logical arrangement is what? First, you should know what is Dhamma, nature. The nature of anything is arise and pass away. That's all. It doesn't matter whether you are called Sotapanna or Sakadagami, Anagami, Arhat, it doesn't matter.
Mm.
Everything that arises will pass away. Yam kinchi samudaya dhammam, sabbam tam nirodha dhammam. All that Dhamma means things, conditions, or whatever is created, if they come together, yam kinchi samudaya, as soon as samudaya means arising, it's actually sunrise. Because in the um, Buddha Dhamma, he uses Attagama, Udayangama, Attagama. Udayanga is nothing but sunrise, Uday, and Atta is sunset. So his way
Mm.
of teaching is, can you hold sunrise to be permanent? That you say to sun, unless I tell you, don't become sunset. No. No matter what you say, you can come up with a concept saying that it is dawn, then it is morning, early morning, and forenoon, and noon. We can put some stickers. But the sun is going to turn like that only. It's not going to do anything other than passing away. So if I see the arising and passing, can I not understand the anicca nature of it?
Mm.
See, I came on 3rd of April to Australia. It's already dead, 1 day old. Meaning I left. Left means died. Vilas died in Australia, Brisbane, on 27th of April, when Marin and Bobby left him at the cemetery. Right?
Yep.
And that's all what it was. Now it's only memories. What I'm cashing upon is memory. When I was there, when I was there, when I was there. Like with Ariu, 22nd December, Chirag and Ariu were there when in airport. They picked up a guy called Vilas and they took him home. And he passed away. That Vilas passed away from San Francisco. When? Just see, when did he pass away? 13th of January 2025. So arrived, departed, correct? Take that. Arrival, departure. Isn't it anicca? Isn't that dukkha? If you were to hold on to it, oh, when you were there, or when I can say, Shaniel, when I was at your house, that was the best. Boss, you should have told me on day one. He'll say, okay, Vilas, next time I will tell you. Now I can't do anything.
Mm.
But I keep on cribbing. That is upadana. Panch upadana, khanda dukkha. Who is in dukkha? You are not in dukkha because you are staying in that home. I
Mm.
am in dukkha because I couldn't enjoy that beautiful home.
Mhm.
Okay. Now Ariu calls me, hey, Vilas, come to San Francisco. I'll say, no, I'll go to Shanier. Why? I have both the visas. Now I can decide where to go. Yours is a huge plot and Arius is a small house. I'll say, okay, next time, Ariu, this time I'll go to Shanier. Why? It's upadan. Why did this happen? Because I have not seen arising and passing away.
Mm.
And I have not seen bhanga, dissolution. You got it? If I know these two, Shaniel, then what happens is the three things, Namarupa, Pachaya Parigaha, Sammasana Jnana. It is comprehending the three characters, which is what? Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta. What else is three characters?
Mhm.
These three will immediately happen the moment you know Udaya Vyaya. Correct? Agree?
Yep.
Now, because Udaya Vyaya happened, you have a Bhanga Jnana. So when you have Bhanga Jnana, you will get Adinava Jnana, Bhaya Jnana, Nibiddha Jnana, Munchetu Kamayyata Jnana, Patisankha Jnana, Sankharupika Jnana, Anuloma Jnana. Okay. All part of that, not that they are separate. Gotrabhut Jnana, Magga Jnana, Phala Jnana, Pachavekana Jnana. Because Pachavekana happens at the time of Bhanga itself. So there are no separate 16 jnanas, even though Buddha Gosa defines it as 16 jnanas because it is a, what we can say, detailing of what should be known.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but in my experience, like I, I saw these things in distinct
Separation.
separation. So
Yes, it can be done.
the first one was number 4. Like 1, 2, 3, I didn't really notice, like not explicitly, but Udaya Baya, I was meditating one day and I felt that arising and passing of sensations. For me, it was like waves of energy moving up my body. And then this is like an experience I never had before. And then I think for the next few days, I had that experience when I meditated. And after that, like I didn't experience Bhanga Jnana until um, I was really striving, because I had some experience. I wanted more of that. And I was striving, nothing was happening. And it's only when I let go that a couple of experiences happened together. But then, from Bhanga Jnana all the way through to Paccavekkhana Jnana, that happened. But to me, what I felt was Bhanga happened, like total dissolution of the body. Like I couldn't feel it anymore. And then I didn't understand these stages, but at some stage I felt that fear, like really primal fear. And then, the misery. And then a few of the other stages I couldn't discern clearly, but I knew eventually it got to equanimity is super peaceful there. And then everything kind of focused in on the arising and passing away, anicca, like at a very deep level where I was focusing on my breath and I could obviously feel all of the different sensations that made up that breath super clearly. And then other things too, and they're all synchronized into just arising, passing away. And I was very blissful just watching that, not really. Stage 12, 13, and 14 were very distinct moments that I experienced, almost like, you know, the individual moments slowed down, dot, dot, dot. And then I had that cessation happen. And for me, that cessation experience was like just something closing, or like, you turn off a TV and the tube just goes, zoop. And I don't know how long that happened for, but when I came back, and I guess then the rest of those stages happened for me. So in my experience, I don't know what period of time that was, but each one of them was very distinct. So when I came out of that sensation, and it was like, just so much bliss like I'd never experienced, and, just light, my eyes were closed, but light, I knew something happened that I hadn't ever experienced before. And so for me, like I only found out about the stages 3 or 4 years later, but I knew something happened. And obviously the 3 fetters that they talk about that go away, like to me, that was very clear. I had unshakable faith then. I knew this was the path. And that impression of, self and not clinging to rites and rituals, all of those things disappeared. So for me, it was very clear, the steps, and I could see them somewhat blurry because I didn't know what I was looking for at the time, but it was distinct stages for me.
Okay, nice. I appreciate. So,
Oh, you're muted, Vilas.
oh, muted. Oh. Able to hear?
Yep.
Okay, I appreciate Shaniel, but it's like this. In whichever format and however you would like to take, we can cut it into some phases for better understanding. Okay. So if I go from below, okay, Paccavekkhana is nothing but reviewing it, what you have accomplished.
Yep.
Okay. So you would get into Paccavekkhana. So, like what you're explaining to me, the fetters were destroyed. You would know that what attainment has been reached, whether you have become a Sotapanna or a Sakadagami, Anagami also, or what remains to be done. That's the meaning of Paccavekkhana. Yes.
I agree. The other thing for me, like what that means is, like the next day, I was able to sort of go through those stages again. Obviously, not the 12 to 14, but all the other stages, and I could sense them. And then obviously, for some time I could do that. But I also craved that. So at some point I couldn't do it until much later where I could review again.
Okay. So now let's understand from 12 to 15.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's about changing your way from anariya to ariya.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is where that Gotrabu, what he talks about, Buddha Gosa. Okay. The switch happens when you see dissolution, bhanga. It's not without bhanga you will get into this, because you will have anicca sanya happening instead of nicca sanya. Sanya is perception, anicca is arising, passing away, and because of that, you see dissolution all of a sudden. And then there's a fear. That's a reason called bhaya jnana. You have a fear of getting associated it again because it disenchanted you, which means nibbidda jnana. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So first thing, the second thing, meaning if you were to look at your practices, another phase we can look into is Arya. You know you're an Arya. Okay. And that's the reason when I was talking to you, I was talking to you in a different connotation so that you can do it even while climbing the stairs, as an example, or walking or whatever it is. Because the first time I met you at Bobby's home, I knew that you have achieved good amount. So I didn't have to spend good amount of time in explaining to you.
Mm-hmm.
So the objective was to get you from wherever you are. Okay. Anyway, coming back to this is that you got Magga Jnana at that moment. That's the 14th one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you know that you left Sakayaditi. So in your case, specifically, the first thing that went off is doubt. After the bhanga happened, the doubt went away that anything is solid. And because of that, the Sakkaya Ditti went away. And because these two going away, then you lost interest in rituals. That's how your three fetters are gone.
Mm-hmm.
So now what happens here is that you got into this, that changed the switch. Meaning when the fetters got cut, your lineage got cut, like Gotrabhu Jnana. And then you
Mm-hmm.
came into the Anuloma Jnana. So you got adapted to into the Nibbana. That means you are ready to penetrate into Nibbana. Okay. So this is what I can talk about. So you first got 14 and 13 and 12 rather than 12, 13, 14
Mm-hmm.
because of what you have done. Okay. Then I go to the next one. This one you are yet to completely do it. That is Patisankha Jnana. You are not able to do that at present. That's where you're stuck. And your Sankharupika Jnana is okay, not really there. So you are yet to get into the deep level. You're happy where you are, but you're not at there. That will complete your Sekha stage itself, if it happens. Okay, so this 10 and 11 have not happened. This ninth one, Munchitu Kamyata Jnana, has not happened to you. Okay, so you're still not there. Nibbidda has happened. So you are not 100% disenchanted, but whenever you get into that state of meditation, you are in Nibbidda. Okay. Then you Adinava Jnana is 60-70%, and Bhaya Jnana is 100%, Bhanga Jnana is 100%, Udayabhya Jnana is 90%, Sammasana Jnana is 60%, Pachaya Parigga Jnana is 40%, Nama Rupa Paricheda Jnana is 30%. This is what is your current affairs.
Mm-hmm.
From what I could see personally interacting with you.
Okay. Yep.
Even, yeah, go ahead.
No, you go.
No, that's all. So in these number of days of our meeting, I couldn't spend full time like what I did with Bobby or with Janak like that. But
Mm.
from whatever I could little bit interact with you and know from where you are, how you're doing. This is what I feel it is. Even though I mean I'm not a complete arhat at this point in time, so I might
Mm.
be wrong because I'm still a sekha. Like I keep on saying that I'm a senior apprentice, so I have no idea that whether I'm able to do some of these percentages in a proper way. But this is what I could see.
Yeah. And I'm not really worried about where I am, like on the
No, no,
path.
you're not worried, but you need to know that.
No, and it's really useful. The thing that's interesting to me is like for people to understand where they are on the path, like how they can use models like this to see, because some of those experiences that I had were very distinct, unlike anything I experienced before, and they changed me, right? Like they changed me and the way I perceive the world and what I feel at a very subtle level. And I remember doing Goenkaji's course, like he always talked about going from the gross to subtler, subtler, subtler. And every time I do a 10-day retreat, like it does get subtler and subtler and subtler what I'm able to experience. Um, so yeah, it's more about just understanding where you are on the path. The second time I had those experiences, which were very distinct, was at the beginning of last year, to 2024. And at that time, I could feel that I was, cycling through these stages, like whatever that means. Maybe it's all together, maybe they're separate. But the thing that I really noticed was when I focused on noticing craving and aversion, when it would come up, and very clearly seeing the impermanence of those states, how they'd come and they'd stay there for a while. I could see them arising, passing, and then replaced by craving for this, aversion for this, craving for this. And my experience then was like getting to that stage of equanimity. And once again, three very distinct or four very distinct phases where, like the first time it happened to me, it was like I was watching the sensations, at the nose, and it was clearly seeing the impermanence of those. The second time was more about seeing the dukkha, the suffering, and that experience for me was the first time was like seeing the gaps in impermanence. Second time was like it almost felt like an expansion of the mind or whatever, like in three instances, and then completely ripped away. And when it was ripped away, like a whole lot of craving and aversion kind of was just torn away, and then rather than feeling anger and greed for things, I felt the reduction of those fetters. So it was more like irritation instead of anger, and maybe just preference. I no longer crave things, but I had preferences for things. But that experience was more about seeing it through suffering and really the suffering in the mind. And what I felt was three distinct beats where the mind just like got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then just popped or was ripped away. And then, like I said, a whole lot of suffering, sort of was removed. But yeah, for me, like both of those experiences gave me some level of surety that, okay, I have progressed, to a certain extent.
No, you have your progress. So the next step for you is to get into the 8 jhanas that you are yet to get into it, and that will change your, is what I said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
And,
Pachaya parigah jnana and a nama rupa parichitta jnana will completely be seen. At
mm-hmm.
present, you're doing good. So, from what I saw you on Saturday, I could actually see you have reached the second stage, which is Sakadagami. Okay. That's a nicest thing. I didn't wanted to say it openly since you said it here. I thought it'll be good. So I told in the morning to Bobby to get in touch with you because you
Mm-hmm.
have a within 40-kilometer radius somebody who is a Sakadagami, so he can benefit all the time, and then you guys can meet up and do that. It's good. At least for him, there's a clarity. There would be a clarity on Sotapanna because I'm doing it from the sutta perspective, whereas you are doing it from this Vipassana Jnanas, 16 Jnanas, and then he has done a 30-day retreat. So he is very adept in Goenka technique, and then you are also done that. So you both can meet up,
Yeah.
and then that might benefit him. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. And I was going to say, like, I think from an experiential perspective and being able to relate that to the Goenka method, I can certainly help her. But in terms of the suttas, like, there's no teacher that I've seen that's like you. And the amount of knowledge I gained over the last 3 weeks has helped my practice immensely, even, in the last 1 or 2 days since you've been gone. So, yeah, happy to help. So that was my first question. Apologies if it was a long one. I had one or two others.
Yeah, yeah,
But,
go ahead. Today it is for you.
okay, thank you. Um, so just talking about those stages and the Goenka method, I was very curious about. Um, I find that even now, like trying to work towards anagami, I can progress through those stages, and they're very
Yes.
much more distinct now. And I get to equanimity, and even after the day you left, like my meditation was like incredibly strong, incredibly deep, and I could, you know, be in equanimity and see, anicca. Like, I guess that's what I tend towards. I see anicca very clearly, and it almost felt like I was going to have another experience where I might, break through that and reach that stage. But I know that I need to work on Vyapada and Abhicca, right, to remove those completely. So I guess my job now is to continue to work towards having samadhi in all the postures and being able to watch whenever these things arise, and obviously not act on them, and to sort of weaken them and cut them out completely. Uh, I guess that is my task that I need to work on.
Yeah, and another thing is that a main important thing is the jhanas.
Jhanas.
This will only keep you a certain level. This is what's happening is that out of the five indriyas,
Yep.
okay, you need to have samadhi and panya going together. So you require the all the eight jhanas,
Mm-hmm.
the four rupa and the four arupa, and you should know that you're able to go from 8 to 1 and 1 to 8 at will.
Mm.
Okay,
Yep.
and that will at that moment, okay, at that very moment, you will attain anagami. And then
Mm.
the kama chanda and vyapada will completely wash out because it is replaced by ruparaga, ruparaga.
Mm. Okay. So the focus of the practice should be on developing those jhanas to that extent.
Yes, yes. So that's the reason I said we require 60 days and all that.
Yeah.
That's what my focus would be. So if I happen to come back again to Australia, and then we need to carve the eight jhana totally.
Mm.
I had never found anybody going to this stage when I have met so many people. So I felt very happy that at least one person I can get him to anagami.
Mm. That would be amazing. So in terms of my jhana practice, I just wanted to share like where I'm at. Uh,
Sure.
so my daily practice is in the morning. I usually start with metta bhavana, and then that develops into first jhana, and
Right.
then from there, second, third, fourth. But I I stop myself at fourth because I really want to develop those first four very strongly.
Mhm.
And what generally tends to happen, either my mind goes to investigating, anicca and other things, or more recently it's tended towards the Brahma Viharas. So it goes to compassion, Karuna, and then uh, mudita. So I'm not letting it go above 4, I have got into the Arupa jhanas, but obviously I still need to do a lot of work to perfect them or strengthen them or whatever. So just wondering if I should continue to go all the way to 8 or not.
No, the thing is like this: if you get attached to 4, I mean, if your objective is to get into anagami, you should complete all the 9.
Okay.
And you should experience the cessation, that is sanya vedita nirodha completely.
Okay.
At that time only you will get this kamachanda vyapada completely out.
Okay. And I was trying to use metta.
No, that is fine. See, the 4 brahma viharas, you can do it very well. I'm sure about that. So that's not an issue with you today.
Okay.
You can continue doing that. Absolutely fair. You don't have to now trouble or distract your mind with the 4 arupa jhana. Okay, you can continue your practice till we meet again for this purpose. You continue on that. Nothing is going to hurt in a way. In fact, it will strengthen your practice when you are doing in Brahma Vihara, because there is another method through which Brahma Vihara method you can enter into Arupa. So you don't have to come to the first, second, third, fourth jhana.
Okay.
So I would prefer that you be on Brahma Vihara for a long time.
Okay. All right.
And that would be the sweet spot. Actually, you get Cheto Vimukti there, and then you can come into the Arupa jhana. Okay, so you can have 2 Vimukti. One is the Cheto Vimukti, and then the Cheto Vimukti at Brahma Vihara, and another Cheto Vimukti at the 7th jhana, which is Akinchayatan.
Yep.
So you would benefit more if you were to stick on with the 4 Rupa jhanas presently, however you're doing.
Okay.
And the way you're doing is also correct. So don't have to change. The only thing is that try to do it with walking meditation. Okay, and practice the mudita and karuna at the same time when you're walking rather than sitting.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so then if you are on Brahma Vihara for the 8 hours, 10 hours, that will create that suitable environment, because upekha will automatically happen. Okay, and that upekha is the same upekha what you get in 4th jhana. So one second. So you can basically do that. That would be good.
Okay, great. And my walking meditation practice has definitely improved. I can get into 3rd jhana now, pretty much every time. So just slowly working to improve that as well.
Good. Nice.
Okay.
All good.
And I just had one other main question, and it relates to, we talked about cleansing the nadis when you came to my place.
That was for Harish, not for you.
Okay. But my experience doing the 10-day Vipassana courses, particularly my self courses here, as I got deeper and more subtle, what I was able to do, which I tried to explain to one of the teachers at the Goenka courses, but he told me not to worry about that, or didn't know what I was talking about. But obviously being able to experience the chakras, but then after that, more subtle, nerve sort of centers, and being able to follow and see where the blockages were and clearing them, slowly one after another. And the last course every time I do a 10-day course, if I follow Goenka's technique, that's where it leads me, finding more and more subtle things and unblocking wherever the blockages are, so I can start to feel where all those channels are. But the last course I did is a self course at my house at the start of the year. Like it went even to a more subtle level, so that I could sort of feel like much more detail where these things are, to clear a lot of them, to feel, obviously prana, whatever, just circulating around. It's incredible how much energy is inside the body, but also the distinct shape of the chakras and stuff like that as well. I could feel, but I don't know. Like, do I need to do this or do I not need to do this? Like,
Actually, if you do it, it'll be beneficial. But if you think it's confusing, then don't do it.
It's not confusing. It just takes a lot of effort, a lot of
Yeah, it is. It is
time.
a. It is a. It is a effort driven. I could call. I could use it as effort driven programming language.
Right. Yeah.
So you need to put in a lot of effort, create that structure. So first you have to cleanse the Mooladhara. Okay,
Yep.
so then you'll see the subtle sensation, like the anus automatically withdraws and opens up, and you're not doing anything
Yeah.
forcefully. So actually, people do this. There are Mula Bandha, then Udyana Bandha, Jalandhara Bandha to invoke the chakras. So then you don't have to do that. So it will automatically happen. When that happens, you can see the water moving up and up and up and up. It just comes out like a wave.
I've experienced that. Yes.
Yeah. So that is the Swadhisthana chakra. Then you will have the like a rumbling happening in the stomach region, and it explodes. So that will be the Manipura chakra. Then the heart region, Anahata, just keeps on expanding, and you feel like crying and crying and crying and love for everyone, etc., which is the metta basically. So that is the Anahata chakra. Then you will have the energy moving into Visuddhi here. So your voice becomes really commanding. So if you talk to someone, that person will do whatever you're saying him to do or her to do. That is the Visuddhi chakra. Then comes here, Agnya chakra, then Sahasrara. It's fine. I mean, that's how it works. Whether somebody agrees to it or doesn't agree to it, but what is in the system, it is there. So the 8 chakras are going to be there. It works. So if you're comfortable doing it, yeah, absolutely. You can, why not? You can harness it.
Okay.
Yes, sir. You.
Good question. The sequence of this progress through these chakras, does it correlate closely with the pala?
Yes. It is pala. So when you have the sila, then the Mooladhara starts to move. And when you have the samadhi stage, the Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata starts to move. And it just creates a concentric circle, and then that energy moves into the Vishuddhi and Agnya. So then you are coming into the Prajna part of it, which is wisdom, that is here. So the here and Sahasrara is the wisdom. So Sila, Samadhi, Panya. In that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll continue that because this last time when I did the 10-day retreat, I think the main channel, is it Sushumna?
Yes. Sushumna Nadi.
Sushumna Nadi. I could feel like each time I do it, like I get a more detailed map of what's there. Like I could see all the way up to the top of the spine and then also see where all of the channels were going to, the other chakra there. But also is it Ida
and Pingala?
Ida and Pingala. Like this time I did it, I could clear both of those as well and see how they sort of, mapped. But I just wondered, like, is this the Goenka method, was it important as part of that, or is it useful to do that?
No, the thing is like this, in Goenka method also it happens, or any method it happens, but then strictly speaking, they say don't combine technique, is not right and not wrong. It's nothing about right or wrong about it. It is part of it actually. So I don't talk it in open because then people will start to think that, okay, this is one, that is another one, and like that. But actually it happens.
Okay.
Whether I like it or not, because actually what happens, the physical body has a mesh-like body that is manomaya kaya. So that is the thing. And that's also there in a Samanya Palasutta. If somebody were to think that it's not there, it is there. But what Buddha did is not to make people spend time in that, instead let them get into the anicca nature. But that's what it is all about. So all other things will automatically happen. Because if I get stuck with this chakras, then there is there is a thing of getting attached to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Okay,
it's such a nice feeling, especially when you get that water going up
Yeah.
and like you feel like somebody's taken you up like a roller coaster, and you just get the whole interesting thing happening there, and then you feel, wow, I never had a better experience like this ever. And then you can feel the tingling sensation across your body,
Mhm.
and the nadis will keep on cleansing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll find some odd sounds also coming out of the body. Then you'll see some lightning coming out of the body and all that. It's a beautiful experience to have.
Yeah, I've had lots of amazing experiences like that, but I haven't been attached to that. I mean, I was just, just being aware and seeing what
That's
happened.
fine. I mean, it is there. Like I said, it is there. Whether somebody believes, doesn't believe, agree, disagree, doesn't matter. It's there.
Yeah, well, for me, it's things you read about, but then when you experience it, you're like, wow, how much more of this stuff is real, that they talk
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it helps strengthen your faith as well. So, okay, I think that were the main questions. I just have one last one, if it's
Yeah. The whole today is yours, so you can take as many questions.
Okay, and it's just about sampajanya and the etymology of that word, what it's made up of and what it means. Because I think you explain things very beautifully. Maybe you've already done it before, but I'd love to get your take.
Yeah, janana is to know. In Hindi or in any Indian language, janana is to know. Pajanana is to completely know the starting and the ending of it. And in the case of sampajanana, is the whole sequence of how arises, how it stays, how it passes away. So in Visuddhi Magga, this Buddha Gosa calls it as Upada Titi Bhanga. Okay, so that's a sampajanya. So, and Goenka you keeps on saying sampajanya na rinchati. Okay, so basically what it means is that you shouldn't even stop one moment out of sampajanya. Meaning you need to be aware of, let's say I make movement like this. It was not there. Now it started. Upada. It stays. Bhanga. Okay. So in all the postures, so there are, Buddha explains all the posture. Like seeing back, seeing front, bending, turning like that, standing, sitting, walking, sleeping, wearing clothes, removing clothes, going for toilet, coming back from toilet, because each is a number one mechanical. That's okay. Number two, that intention, the bodily sankhara, they're pure intention. This got nothing to do with I need to do this or that, like toilet. You just go there, do it and come back. So you have to see whether any raga, dvesha, moha is getting developed in those postures. Alokite, vilokite, sampajanakari hoti. Jana is to know. Pajanana is to completely know. Sampajanana is the arising, staying, and passing away. Like I showed you that how you can get that stair thing, right? Like that free flow. And in that, when you get free flow, when you see all the three, Uppadatiti Bhanga. Okay, that might not be quite obvious when Goenkaji says that. Because he says on the third day that free flow coming and then going, and you just watch some places there is unconscious, stay there for a moment and go down and see and see and see, and then you can see that there's no place which doesn't have any sensation. So what is this sensation business? It's not just nothing but energy moving in every part of the body. If somebody were to say there is no energy at all, better throw him in the cemetery.
Mm.
Right? What's the point in keeping that? So there is an energy body. It's called ethereal body. In all cultures, talk ethereal body. And Buddha calls it as manomaya. Okay. What it
Mm.
does, it loses energy, so it generates energy, again loses energy, again generates energy. And the energy, when you generate, it has some staying power, like our batteries or whatever we have electricity, just stays for a moment and goes away, again stays for a moment, goes away. Okay. So this, if you are able to watch like a witness, what happens? You, in the sense of consciousness, is able to watch itself as a witness rather than a doer. I'm doing something. So it doesn't lose energy.
Mm.
So what happens? It's a burst of energy coming out. And that burst of energy, what Goenka talks is dhara pravaha in Hindi, which transforms to free flow in English. Okay. And there are places where you will not find any kind of flow. In fact, on the contrary, you will find it as heat. You'll find it as throbbing. You'll find it as no sensation, etc.
Mm.
Now, how will you explain to someone who doesn't know anything? He would say some sankharas are holding it.
Mm.
So you watch them, so the sankharas comes out. Sankharas are not like cats and dogs that they wait and come out when you want to see them. But how else can anybody teach? See, these are the people who come from 10 days course. They have no idea of what Buddha Dhamma is.
Mm.
In that way, Ubakin, Goenka ji have made a very nice course. But the only limitation of the course is it is addictive. They just stick there, thinking that that's all what it is.
Yeah.
That's the only issue. Other than that, it is beautiful, actually. But anyway, coming back to this, is that when you see Dhara Prabha or free flow, it is moving through where? Through the tubicles. Where else? And where are these tubicles? Obviously, in the mind. So, on the Vipassana day, fourth day, or the fifth day, when you are getting that Bhanga experience, if you get out on the fourth afternoon itself, Bhanga experience is beautiful. Why? Because the solidity is gone, only left with Manomaya Kaya.
Mm.
So, you'll not feel any body. It's only vibration. What is vibration? Nobody has given any vibrator to vibrate. It's there. The basic fundamental of energy is to vibrate. Everywhere is vibration. Electromagnetic means what? It's vibration. What else is electromagnetic? How does the atoms come together? Through vibration, obviously. Let's look at entropy and enthalpy. It's vibration. If you heat up the atoms, they stay in one particular way. If they are not, they are literally they're going to disintegrate. So the integration disintegration is always there. So if you take tea or coffee or hot water or whatever, after some time it turns itself into coolness, which is entropy. It loses energy. And when you heat it up, heat it up, so the atoms come together, and it comes together, you are maintaining a particular state, right? And when you maintain a particular state, what's going to happen? It's going to always go towards chaos. Or if I use our Bobby's way of explaining, chaos. Okay, they are disordered. So the universe is always disorder. It's not ordered. You need to put something to make it order. So the consciousness tries to make something ordered, and Buddha says that is dukkha. Because what by nature is disordered, it disintegrates. There's no integration. You are forcing integration. Simple. So that watching is sampajanana.
Yep. Thank you for that explanation, Vilasji. Very,
Sure.
very good.
Hope I answered through from science and this and that, every
You
perspective.
did every angle. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Yes. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
No, that was the last of my questions.
That's the last. Okay. Ariu raised a hand, so we'll give him.
No, I just kind of have a naive kind of question because in the science, this double slit experiment, by observing things, you make it more of a a particle sense. But in this case, when we're observing, but it make it more vibrating. So I'm just curious, what's the
No. There also, what's happening is in the double slit experiment case, especially single slit. If you see, light particles goes as waves and particles. Light as a particle, light as a wave. When doesn't light go as a particle? When there is observer effect. So when you are watching, like you're watching your body from head to toe, you become a particle. There's a particle effect. It goes in one slit only. It cannot go in the other slit. That means once in that slit, once in this slit, once in both. Once in that slit, once in this slit, once in both. That doesn't happen. Because that's not happening, it turns itself into bhanga, dissolution, because it can't hold on to that energy. Got it? On the single slit, if you get the single slit as an experiment, but what happens to an experiencing body? It's experiencing happening on the body, right? This body is experiencing. What happens? It enters into chaos, and then it disintegrates completely. Okay. Now I have a wife. The wife is chaos or chaos, basically, because it's just a particles. When there is an observer effect, they all come together. When there is no observer, it goes as waves, sometimes as particle, sometimes as wave, sometimes as both. You got the point. When will it be particle, when it will be wave, is uncertainty principle. So only if condition comes to be particle, it becomes particle. When condition not there, it can be particle or a wave. It depends. So basically what is happening, the disintegration is never seen because it's integrated back when the wave happens. You understand, Ariel? If you're an observer effect, you'll see disintegration. That's the reason when you're driving the car, you're seeing the passing away. So you feel, because you never saw disintegration. Now you keep the observer very near to this light particles. Then what happens? They slow down. So you can see the arising, passing away, arising, passing away, arising, passing away. You bring the observer even more near. Now it stills. You understand? Yes.
Yeah, I was thinking my son was sharing a few months ago. He saw the world suddenly stopped in a frame. He was shocked by seeing how it become a frame and it goes back. And he was saying like he said he saw it twice. So this is due to having observer effect in that moment. So he saw that passing arising or passing away, or is it just
We don't know. Whatever, he has seen something different because there is an observer effect. Good. That's it. But today, I have something else. Bobby, you have anything in store?
It's good to listen today. It was amazing. Excellent.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Bobby. Sorry, I hear you. Go ahead.
No, I was thinking the same thing. I appreciate Shaniel's joining and asking these questions and sharing the experiences. It feels like Vilas is a college or PhD teacher we're a lot of elementary school students, so he keep on explaining simple terms, but you ask, appropriate, at least college level question for him to show his real wisdom. It's good for us.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
reason I bring things down more easy. Because
Yeah.
if I talk at that level, there's no point.
I think for me, it's step-by-step process, and all starts with making sure your Sila is good, and after I did my first Goenka course, I stopped eating meat. I'd already given up drinking a year before that. And so then ever since that time, I just maintained my Sila as scrupulously as I could. And then I just did the practice, right? And wherever I was weak, like my concentration wasn't good, I looked for a teaching. Anytime I needed something, like YouTube or the internet would provide a guide. And recently, when I'm trying to get to Anagami, the last year came up, so I was like, okay, well, follow that. So you need to trust in the Dhamma to give you what you need, but you need to do your work, maintain your Sila, work on your Samadhi, and then wisdom will come.
Yes, Archana.
Sorry, sir, by mistake.
By mistake. I thought it was a very good mistake.
No, I wanted to clap for Cheryl actually, so that got missed. He was really enjoyed his experiences. The question.
Thank you, Vilashi. Actually, for everybody's this one, Vilashi's visit to Australia was very beneficial, and he inspired many people in progressing into Dhamma. Even though somebody he met for only maybe few hours, I was with him all the time. So I can see them that they have got a lot of inspiration. So, thank you, Vilashi, for coming here, and thank you for everybody's support. It was just amazing.
Thank you for all of your support. Otherwise, I couldn't come there.
Yeah, but it is Dhamma how it was working. I was just seeing in front of me, and it never gone like as per any plans or something. It was just flowing. So still that memories and all these things are so clear in my mind, and that joy is still flowing.
Yeah. Let us keep the joy. That's the only thing we can do.
You experienced something like Ananda for for weeks.
You can buy bed now. Ravindra, we couldn't
I didn't understand that. What is that?
He wants you to buy the cot rather than sleeping on the floor.
Oh, okay.
That's what he means. Yeah, Bobby, I think in your house, the energy should survive more than what it survived in Aryu's home. So you can enhance it or you can use it. It's for you.
Thank you, Vilashi.
And
why is that, Vilas?
what's that?
Why is the energy surviving more in Bobby's house than Aryu's house?
Because I used a lot of energy in curing people's ailments when I was there with Aryu, which I shouldn't have done it. So what happened is it literally brought it down. This visit of mine, I didn't have to do anything except for Merin, who had burnt her hand. And out of compassion, I thought maybe I should do something because we were heading out. So I didn't wanted her to suffer. So I took out the pain out of her hand. But otherwise, I wanted to give the whole energy to Bobby so that in that room, he can use it. And I did the same thing at Chanel's home, not Chanel, Chanel's home. Okay, Chanel's home, I used his, what is that? Shunyagara. He's made a nice empty room. I sat there. He already has a good energy there. I kept more of it that he can enhance it.
I could feel that, Vilasji. Like, I was going to ask you, what did you do to that room? Because you turbocharged it.
Yeah, no, so I just went and gave it and came back. so that let it remain there. I think it's going to be there for a long time, so you can use it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I wish I had done that with Eriu, but unfortunately it couldn't. It just died out in 22, 23 days.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of iteration, right? Like with every retreat you do, I think things will keep on getting better and better and better.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah. So this time around, I thought that I shouldn't be doing any curing exercises. I did many of these sessions in US, so I didn't do any one of them in Australia. Because if I do that, I need to sit and generate that energy. That's the problem. Anyway, so next month, yes,
right?
yeah, go ahead.
It shouldn't take long for you to regenerate.
It doesn't, Ariu. It doesn't at all take long. But the thing is that I am robbing somebody from using it. That's the concern.
So
Meaning,
that duration you kept that high energy state matters. It's like energy times time. You're in that. If you dipped it, and you have to regenerate.
yeah, I have to do that. And so next time I have to be in SFO to do it. But it's again a pain, right? And instead of that, if it would survive for 6 months, maybe it would have been better. Like in the Shaniel's home, it's going to be there for a long time. So I asked everyone to meet once in 2 weeks and meditate so that it keeps on enhancing. So the next time I come, I can make it to peak out. So anybody sitting there should be able to get into jhanas. I couldn't do that in Bobby's home for various reasons. They have a nice that romantic experiences, so I didn't wanted to disturb that. So other than that, I wanted to do something closer to Jhan at his house. But anyway, but otherwise also they should benefit. The family should benefit. At least for going to survive for more than 6 to 8 months for sure. The very room where I was sleeping, he should be able to enhance it. Because that's the same place he sits and does. So it should be different. So I'll be interested in hearing from you, Bobby, after a few days. What different did you find?
Yeah, I'll update you.
Okay. All right. Shaniel, I also did one thing in which other room? I think your son's room or something where that they had the blanket open and everything.
Yeah.
I just wanted to do something there to nullify some of the negative things. So you could be able to do that there.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Vilasji.
Yeah. All right. So should we end for today, and tomorrow we can take up our favorite topic, Sotapanna. We'll start from the beginning. I mean, this is not for Shaniel, who has crossed this stage. Also not good for Sakadagami stage. So, but still he can attend if he desires to.
Yeah, I'd be happy to attend as much as I can.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's fine. Even if you don't attend, I know that you've already crossed it. So Bobby would be most interesting thing for him because he wanted a forest and your house is a forest. He wanted seclusion. There is seclusion. And you're staying all alone. So that is even more better for him. So he can just take his car and come there and sit. That's all.
Anytime. He's welcome anytime.
See, Bobby, you already had it.
Thank you, Shaniel.
So if your interest is still Sakadagami, you can drop off Vilas and you can be with Shaniel.
Nah, don't drop off Vilasji. He is the source.
No, it is like assuring that somebody physically is there, but definitely I will never drop off Vilasji in my life, in this life. I think so.
I agree. But you are welcome anytime. anytime you want to come around.
And you know what? From his house to Shaniel's house is just 40 kilometers, and they can drive in just 35, 40 minutes at the max. And he has a nice place, truly
I
nice.
saw some pictures, big lawn, and there's a tennis course. Is that
Yes,
part of
yes, yes. He has a tennis court. He has a billiard table as well, and then all of fun things. And yet, is not interested in any one of this. Is amazing.
Nice. What a good merit you have to have so
He's
much
got
Dhamma.
everything you name of it. Meaning, it's wonderful.
I'm very fortunate.
Yeah.
The conditions, Vilasji always talks about creating the conditions. The
Yes.
conditions have been very favorable for me.
Yes,
So,
condition have been favorable. It's always, and then he has a river or stream flowing, and there is a nice bridge. You can just stand there, and and then he has a nice trees and flowering plant, not flowering plant. Sorry, it is mango trees and persimmon and so many things.
May I ask how did Shaniel get connected?
How did what?
I watched these videos.
You have been watching before even Vilas had visited.
Probably for 1 year, and then I heard that he was coming to Brisbane, so I reached out to him and said, "Hey, I'd love to meet."
Nice.
Yeah. He had messaged me, and we had an email. Then we spoke on the phone, and then I said, "Yeah, I'm here from so and so to so and so date." Then we made him join into the group, Australian group, along with another person called Viren. He also had seen it on YouTube. So then they both used to come. They came to the Bobby's home, and then wherever we went after that, it was nice. So, Ariu, next one, you should come to Australia rather than coming to US.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
More planets there than in the US. US, it's satellites.
Exactly.
Saturn is there.
Yeah. So
Go to the-
maybe we should meet at Shaniel's house. It's a very good. I was looking at the topology of the house and energy level and all that. It's pretty nice, pretty neat. So maybe, and here I've also asked him to donate it. so that people can benefit. Anyway, he's already donated. He's saying that anybody can come and meditate with him. Beautiful. I mean, doesn't have to give it to me or anyone. It is good that he's doing it. And he's a gamer. Ariu.
Nice.
Another thing about this Ariu that Chanel, what impressed me, with the way he's very humble, and we didn't know about all this. He's done this gaming and everything, unless we went to his house. He didn't self-proclaim or anything. So it actually impressed me a lot. A lot of his qualities, but he was not showing that I'm. So all those qualities which makes a person who is progressing in Dhamma. So very fortunate to meet you.
Yeah, very fortunate. I mean, having all of this and not getting attached, talks very good.
I see the danger,
I know that. Yeah, Bhayagnana.
It makes sense for a Sakadagami. I mean, by definition.
Yeah, it makes sense. So we can see it practically that you have someone who is non-possessive. So I felt very happy the day I met him face to face. I was seeing his eyes, and then I felt, okay, good. Somebody has done it. Very nice association.
Sorry, I don't want to keep going. So in that whole session of Vilashi, he comes every day, and I was just looking at him, and he was the keenest listener, he's a very good listener. and he was not asking any questions. I think first time today I'm hearing that he is talking. normally he doesn't talk, and but he was listening very carefully, and whatever Vilashi was saying, he could immediately pick it up. I don't think anybody else was so fast, and this thing I was so inspired by that. So
Yeah, yeah.
hopefully he's. I was looking at the how I can get there in the map, since you're saying that. But anyway, thank you, Shanir. And
It's my pleasure. You have to stop saying things, otherwise my mana is going to increase. I'll have more work to do to remove that.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, we are just sharing a gratitude, so you don't have to
I
take it
know,
too
I know.
personally. Yeah.
I was joking. I was, yeah, but thank you. I really got so much benefit from, Bobby, you opening up your home and allowing me to visit and obviously spend time with Vilasji. So, yeah. And how I can help anyone in this group, I'm more than happy to.
So, Ariu, next time around, don't call me to US. We'll meet. We'll meet at Shania. No, otherwise, also I can come to US. It's not an issue.
I think all this time, Vilashi's favorite was yours. So.
No. Even now, I don't want to say that, but anyway. But I can come to US, not an issue. But why I said what I said is that you have a Sakadagami sitting practical person who has done through his own insight, which is very good. Gives me a sense of happiness, a sense of contentment that I could find someone. Because all of these times, people say Sotapanna itself is impossible in this life. So I was all along saying that it is not. So when I first met Shaniel, I mean, when I saw his eyes, I felt, oh, nice guy. At least I can proudly say that somebody has worked on his own. Whichever, whether he went through Goenka technique or some technique, it doesn't matter. But can you know for yourself? Yes, it is. It's not a blind science saying that, oh, you know what, you can't, you shouldn't think, you shouldn't do that. It's not true. I should know. And he has known. He has known through that 16 Vipassanas, which is good. At least he has understood, looked at it, investigated. That's how we need to do. So I felt very happy, even though he was not asking many questions. I knew he has done very well. So just to make him feel more interested, I was telling him something or the other to try it out, and it used to work. And I was trying to compare. If this person is at this level, he should get this, and he was able to. But when I explained the same thing to Bobby and Janak, and there's another person called Raju, on how to do the stair climbing and coming down, you can have free flow. They couldn't get it. Okay. Because they are not yet there. There's nothing wrong with them. They're not yet there. So they won't get it. So I just wanted to check whether am I imagining it or is it for real? Okay. And he was getting it. So it was very nice. So at least some person who I've seen, and especially for Bobby, with having so many questions, so many worries, doubts, and so many things about where he has reached. He has somebody, it's a 40-kilometer radius, 40 kilometers, not radius, just 40 kilometers. In fact, every Saturday, Sunday, he can be there at his home.
Bobby found a new monastery.
New monastery. Actually, he's shopping
But
monastery.
new monastery.
No, he's shopping monasteries. Instead of that, he can be with a person who has really seen it. He could use it. Okay, good. Any other? Yes, Mangala, you were messaging something.
Yes, I was messaging that thank you, everybody. Your visit has, in fact, made the group even more, should I say, enlightened, or should I say, made it more vibrant. And we've not slackened. Let me tell you, we do a little bit of sutta reading. We have a small group, of 3 or 4 people. We have in your remembrance, we do read every day, but being with you is very different. So let me say thank you again, and it's
Yeah,
really
tonight we start again. Start again.
yes. Namo Buddhaya, sir. Thank
Namo
you.
Buddhaya. Okay, I think we are past your time as well. I think so.
Mhm.
1.5 hours. It's now 2:30 for you.
Mhm. Yep. Time to get back to work.
Yep. All right. Good day, everyone, and good night, Ariu. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Namo Buddhaya.